Hello, and welcome back to the Coop to Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah and Tommy, and special guest Owen from Villa on Tour. So
Hello,
we'll be talking about reviewing Manchester City versus Aston Villa, and that will be coming up after this. Okay, so we were back. It was Etihad Stadium this time, the away trip, and Manchester City were coming off a big week where they'd, had 115 charges put against them by the Premier League for financial misconduct. And what better antidote to that than Villa traveling up there with some diabolical defending, which it was. And we have special guest Owen here from Villa on Tour. We'll go to you first, Owen. You were there at the Etihad, and how was it witnessing that defensive disaster in the first half?
Well, a lot of us were saying that it was either the best time to play them or the worst time to play them. Obviously, coming on the back of this thing, they could have been fired up or they could have really been against it. I'll be honest, I think Arsenal dropping points at home on Saturday probably didn't help things. If they had won, it may have been a different case. And, well, that was all down to some dodgy camera work again, but I'm sure we'll get onto that in a bit over the weekend. We really struggled to get going first half. I don't think we had a shot until we scored. The first goal came after about 4 minutes and no one picked up. I think it was Rodri that scored. No one picked him up at the front post. He'd late run and he was there. And then conceding after 5 minutes, you don't hold out much hope, especially going somewhere like that. You want to try and hold on as long as possible and then kind of nick something. But yeah, 5 minutes in, 1-0 down, it's just not what you need. And you could tell it kind of knocked it out of him straight away. I think it was a massive miss in that one. The second one. I wasn't really paying attention for the second goal. Sorry. I happened to look up and Haaland was in and round the keeper, and I was like, what's going on here? And then, that was 2. And then, well, I'm sure the third goal will probably be a big talking point shortly as well. But overall, not a great defensive display. And we got a consolation. It was a good finish, but just another defeat at City.
Yeah, I was definitely in the camp of this isn't a good time to play them, especially, when I heard Pep's pre-match press conference and he looked fired up. He looked, angry, like he had a bit of a spark. And Tommy, that first goal again, we've been singing Kamara's praises all season. He's been probably our best player, but he fell asleep and let Rodri just, run into that near post area, and it was a free header.
Kamara, yeah, but I think that's the problem with zonal defending as well, Scott. You're kind of opening a can of worms, and City are set piece specialists, right? So, Rodri's not even that big of a bloke, and for him to just run around the back and get the header in for, normally put someone on the post, that's a clearance off the line. But I think it was more the zonal defending that cost us more than the Kamara's mistake. Look, I just love Kamara, so I don't want to blame him, to be honest.
No, I agree with you. I don't know why. Maybe I'm old school, but I don't know why they don't put people on the post anymore. I mean, like we were always told, like spaces don't score goals. It's people that score goals. Like you got to, man mark and get a couple of people on the post. But I don't know. Emery's got his way, I guess. And Austin McPhee, again, earning his coin, I guess.
I think this is a good learning curve for Emery as well. These are the learnings that we need to take if we really want to push for the 6 next season, right? Like whether he's got a war chest or not, mistakes are mistakes. And no matter how good your cattle is, everyone's susceptible to making it. But I think this will be, I think he'll be on the laptop by the time he's on the bus again and be tweaking as we speak. So, look, I think there's some positives to still come out of this. And also, Mara's got the assist and then the pen as well. So my fantasy's buzzing this week, Scott.
Oh, well, that's the important thing, of course, your fantasy team. Noah, as Owen touched on, the second goal, another defensive error, this time from Callum Chambers. I mean, he was one-on-one. There was a lot of space in behind, which probably wasn't his fault. We seem to be playing quite an open defense the last few weeks, a bit of a change of approach from Emery. And there was lots of gaps in behind, and he got bullied, and, Haaland finds himself there free, just a little ball into Gundogan, and that's 2-0.
I mean, you got to feel for Callum Chambers, don't you? Because it's his first game since August, I believe.
Yeah.
And to really get thrown in a game like this, I mean, no game simulation, unlike here, like when you can play in the reserves and stuff, he hasn't played in the 23s. He's been sitting on the bench. And I mean, Tyrone Mings was a massive miss. I mean, it's a bit of a difference between those two playing. I think he played left centre back yesterday as well.
What happened with Minksy, by the way? Did anyone, was it released?
I think it was a knock. I think they said the pre-game was a knock. I don't know what it was, but
it was very strange. It was very strange pre-match because Duran wasn't even on the team list, and he, and he comes on, has that great effort, hits the bar in the second half. That would have been some way to score your first goal in the Premier League, but it was. So there was a few odd things in the pre-match, and. I think maybe going into next week, Owen, we're going to see some changes with that starting lineup because I think there's a few guys that probably do deserve a chance.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's 2 games now, and most of the players have played through them, and that's seven or 8 goals conceded, which is not pretty to look at. I think I don't want to start singling players out, but there does need to be a kind of reshuffle. I think. Yeah. There's too many mistakes happening, and like you said, Noah Chambers, it was a bit unfair on him to kind of start picking him apart when he's been thrown in on his weaker side as well. But yeah, I'd like to think we do kind of try and shore it up a little bit because it could get messy again with it being Arsenal next week.
Definitely, and I guess the big talking point, the thing that had all Villa fans sort of spitting out their Sunday dinner was. The foul on Grealish or the dive, whichever way you want to look at it. What was your take on it, Noah, first of all?
I mean, he's done that sort of stuff for Villa so many times. Obviously, I think we see it more up the field. I think I saw a lot of people saying on social media, if he gets fouled like that in a Villa shirt, like we saw it many times in the penalty box, it's never given. Right. It was a very instant decision from the referee. I guess he's in a good spot, but the way I look at it, there was a bit of contact from JJ, but the main contact is when he trips himself up, and we've seen that so many times. But I don't know, he does it for Villa all the time. I don't really think it's a dive. But
I think the 2 to 3 second delay was just embarrassing. If it was kind of done, if you're going to do it like Neymar, do it properly, right? When the contact happens, it was just that delay that made it look more stupid. And there was an angle where JJ's hit him, and there's like 1, 2, and there's like 2 meters forward. Then he's fouled. I'm like, how did he even get given? That's what I'm laughing at.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think once it is given, it's not going to get overturned. Unfortunately, I think there was a slight contact there, and you got to know someone like Grealish. Once he gets goal side of you in the box, you can't touch him at all because he's going to look for it. And I mean, I think it goes into the category of made the most of it instead of dive, but it still hurts to see. And, it was unfortunate. And that was actually game over at that point, 3-0. So
if you're signing for 100 million and you have to rely on those kind of antics to prove your worth, it's pretty sad, to be honest.
He had a good game, though. To be fair, I think Grealish had a pretty good game.
The real impact was the dive, right? That actually contributed to anything material.
Yeah, but
initially when I first saw it, I was a bit like, oh, well, he used to do it all over the pitch for Villa, so yeah. we used to laugh about it. We used to go, it's good from him; he'll win the fouls. And I did think there was contact to start with, and then you look back, and he's very, very clever about it. I think he leaves a left leg kind of just hanging out there,
leg,
and he cuts across him, yeah.
Yeah, I think the bigger concern from it, though, is the fact that I can't remember who it was, maybe Rodri or Gundogan, took 3 or 4 players on first. He walked through 3 or 4 players. I think Watkins highlighted it in his social media post apologising for it. But one of them took 3 or 4 on and then rolled Grealish in. And I think it was just going to go downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was definitely plenty of mistakes, especially on the second goal that we touched on earlier. That was Kamara as well, giving the ball away in a really good area. We actually had an overload in the right-hand side of the attack, and it was quite a simple pass. And, he just seems to be a little bit sloppy the last few weeks, a little bit kind of slow, a little bit casual. And he kind of gave the ball away, and then, we're sort of caught short of the back. So, yeah, I mean, I was disappointed because I thought that up until the 1-0 that we had a couple of moments. Ollie Watkins got in round the back early and, tried to put in Bailey. Bailey had another one where, they looked a bit short at the back. They were playing this weird sort of 3 at the back with Bernardo Silva dropping in there sometimes. It was kind of different to what you see from City usually. And I thought we could take advantage of that. But of course, you've got to stay in the game. And, we couldn't do that. So, yeah, it was all over at halftime.
Did we give 3 goals, really? Like it all come from mistakes and just poor tactics from our end, I guess, right? And I guess that kind of falls on Emery. He's got to wear that. But I feel like none of those goals was on a wonder strike or a beautifully built-up goal, like, Owen alluded to it earlier. Someone dribbled past 4 players, and it was kind of a bit of a ridiculous dive that won the pen. It wasn't the dribbling past the players, but again, that kind of caused the danger. I felt like we gave them 3 goals.
We did it last week as well.
Exactly. We did the same against Leicester, and coming off quite a few games where we kept clean sheets and we're looking pretty solid at the back. It is a bit of a surprise because Emery, at his other clubs has been known for, being solid at the back first and then sort of, going forward after that. But
he's got the cattle at the other clubs too, right? I mean, Mings and Konsa are great, but could we improve both of them? Absolutely.
Definitely. And I think Luca Digne as well is I'm not sure why he's kept his place with Moreno coming in. You think he's brought in his left back, a guy he knows from La Liga, good player. He started quite well for us, I think, in the games he has played, and then the last couple of games, lost his place. So yeah, that's a bit of a head scratcher too.
I think I think Digne was brought in to kind of offer more of a defensive stability, as he's probably more defensively capable than Moreno. However, the 2 weeks he has been in, when Moreno's come on, he's looked better defensively than Digne has. And
I thought Moreno was the better defender. I thought Moreno was the better defender, believe it or not. I don't know. And I think he's a bit smaller as well. That's I don't know, size. But I thought Moreno is better. He flings himself at some tackles, but he's less sus than Digne, that's for sure.
I think we can tell from the last 2 games that Moreno probably is the better defender. I don't think Digne kind of fits into what we want or where we're trying to go. But I don't know why he then decided to bring him in, and especially after I can't imagine why he'd keep his place for Arsenal. But it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
And I feel like Digne will get the ball between kind of halfway and the 18-yard box, and then just ping a great ball in. Don't get me wrong, but Moreno's finding himself almost one-on-one with the keeper, and then he's got the engine to track back as well. And he can do that for probably a solid 75, 80 minutes at least. So I just thought, why not have that?
Very good at that. He was very good at that in the Leeds game when he first came in.
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah. And I think, Digne was really a Steven Gerrard sort of signing in the system he wanted to play, where the fullbacks get, really forward and, the midfield sort of shuffles across. And I'm not really sure he's working in this current system, but we'll have to wait and see. Arsenal is going to be another big test. We're going to have to be defensively on it for that match. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe someone like John McGinn's brought in, maybe give us a bit more toughness in the midfield, because I think maybe Ramsey probably needs a bit of a rest as well, because he hasn't been great the last few games. But and then there's Coutinho as well, Noah, who when he came off the bench looked pretty good. But can you play him and Buendia in the same team is the big question.
I think you potentially can, because I'm not sure if you guys remember the Brighton game when Watkins was out injured. Buendia played that role next to Ings, and I think that Coutinho could play the now role Buendia's playing potentially. Coutinho's cameos the last few games has been sensational. I wish he got that goal against Leicester. You can see how much it meant to him last week to get that goal finally. It's been so long. Since the City game, end of last season, was his last goal involvement, which was the goal.
Yeah.
But he just looks back to his best, I guess.
Yeah, and there's been talk on social media and in the papers about potentially him going to Galatasaray, because the Turkish window's still open for a bit longer. And I was shocked to hear that, because one, he's playing quite well, and two, we're quite short of numbers at the moment.
He won't go. There's no way it's suicide if we let him go. You look at our bench recently, we've still got 2 keepers on the bench, I believe. So why would you let your second best playmaker go?
Yeah.
That's right. And then I guess the other one, Tommy, maybe is John Duran.
He's dangerous. I think we need to see him. Just throw him in the deep end. He's clinical. He can ping a ball. He's got pace. I think he's going to be an X factor for us. I hope so. And I mean, you see YouTube clips, and that's all we can really go by. But I mean, he was a potential signing. It's scary that if he's 19, just that ceiling for him is just unlimited right now. Just that, even that strike, just that, like, that's not something Ollie would do. And don't get me wrong, Ollie's found his shooting boots lately. So I don't know if that's Duran's arrival. Maybe his striker coach is, I don't know, finally doing his job that he should have for the last year. But yeah, I think Ollie's looking great. But Duran, dangerous. I like him. I know when he came on last game and he just burnt past someone, won a free kick, I'm like, just immediate impact, right? And if you could do that for a whole 90 and you find the back of the net, I think it's worth his weight in gold. Might be a bargain for the price we paid.
That's right. And with Bailey kind of, dipping in form a little bit.
I think Duran for Bailey, straight swap. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that could definitely work. That'd be interesting to see, but I'm thinking maybe against Arsenal, he'll probably stick with the pace of Bailey just for, sort of opportunities on the counter-attack, but we'll have to wait and see. But Owen, in the second half, like we spoke about before, we did improve a bit. We got the goal, Ollie Watkins. There was a nice little intercept and pass from Douglas Luiz, set it up, and Watkins continues with his good form.
Yeah, I think he's 100 games now, I think, for Villa, and he scored 34, 35 goals, which isn't a bad return considering for a lot of the time us as Villa fans question his goal scoring ability and what he does besides run around a lot. I think he's really, really come in the past few weeks. He's scored or assisted in like the last 5 or 6 games, which I think is really, really good. I think the pressure's somewhat off him a little bit, I think, with things kind of moving on. I think he's just like, they could John Duran maybe not getting the starts yet, although he's very close to. He's not going to have to worry so much about, if I don't perform, then someone else is going to step in. I liked his finish yesterday because how many times before had we seen him one-on-one and that gets saved or it rolls wide of the post or anything like that. I think he finished it really well. And that's certainly given him a big confidence boost over the past few weeks.
And the combo play as well, I reckon. There was Ollie won the header to Duran, right? So, like, there's a bit of already, and I like that. Maybe play 2 forwards down the track. Who knows? At least there's something new we can try out.
Yeah, well, I think that's one thing we've never doubted with Ollie is his work rate and his ability to, get stuck in and, win headers and that sort of thing. So if he can bring that, clinical nature to his game and, score 15, 20 goals a season, then he's going to be really crucial for us. But Owen, how was the atmosphere in the away end yesterday? What's the sort of feeling going, with these 2 losses in a row? Is there anyone that's getting a little bit nervy or?
I don't think so. I mean, whenever we go to City, the kind of everything else goes out the window and you spend 90 minutes winding them up. People have got blow-up trophies, Champions League trophies. People took a load of fake money and stuff yesterday. So we was having a good laugh to start with, and obviously you go 1-0 down after 5 minutes, it's like, oh. But yeah. I think City and probably Arsenal next week, it's just kind of a free hit. But it's come at a bad time with the result against Leicester, and now I think if Everton win later on, then that's going to concern me a bit more because we've got them after as well. I don't think anyone's concerned. It's just we're trying things out. We're not going to go down, I'd like to think, but we're trying stuff out. We'll win games that we're not expected to win, and we'll lose games that we're probably not expected to lose, and that's where we are as a club at the moment, sat there in the middle, ticking over 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, anywhere like that. That's where we probably are. And then in the summer, we get some players in that Emery knows, trusts, and wants to work with, and then we can kick on, hopefully.
Well, I think Emery's got a war chest in the summer, by the way. I think it was, whatever I don't spend in Jan, I want it all put towards, summer plus whatever I'm being granted. So I think he's being quite strategic with how he's spending. It's not that we didn't have money. I think there's a big war chest in the summer. Not saying we're going on a Chelsea run, but hey.
No, well, we could definitely spend a couple of $100 million maybe over the next year or so. I could see it happening because our owners, there's one thing, they're not going to stop. I don't think they're going to stop until we get into those European positions and, push for trophies. And, they want us to be, mixing it with the big boys. And, it's step by step. It's not going to happen overnight. But, everything that's happened since Emery's come in has been pretty positive, I think. I think you can see he's got a plan. You can see he's trying new things. You can see that the players are responding to him and they sort of have a level of respect and a level of understanding of what's expected. And and look at someone like Ollie Watkins, for example. Like going forward, I think we're we're looking much better than under Gerrard, and last few weeks we've had some defensive issues, but I think they're sort of one-off games here and there, and overall we've been fairly solid since he's come in. I mean, but it has been, like you said, Owen, has been inconsistent. We've beaten Man United and Brighton away and things like that, and then lost to Stevenage, and so we've had some weird results. But I don't know. Hopefully, we can get a bit of an upset against Arsenal on Saturday.
Speaking of Gerrard, how the hell is he linked with the Southampton job? Did they not see what he'd done to us?
He was linked with Leeds as well, I saw.
It's like going for your mate's toxic ex.
Well, after Nathan Jones, I think probably anything's a step up. That guy seemed like a pretty weird dude.
No, he wasn't bad.
He was doing good in the Championship, but it's a different playing field up here in the Premier League.
They're heading for the Championship. What do you mean? They're not going to start.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was he at Luton? I think he was, or was he at Stoke? I think
he was
at
Luton.
Is it both? Yeah, and then
that's a big step up for him. And then now he's basically on Centrelink again, right? Poor bloke.
But he said he was like going to be the best manager in the world in one of his little rants.
The way he conducted himself.
Yeah,
the way he conducted himself in his interviews wasn't brilliant considering their run of form.
Yeah.
Bring back
Ralph Hasenhüttl.
I think it was stiff getting he'd done a lot of work at that club. It's kind of like a Sean Dyche at Burnley situation. Yeah, he'd done. I know he lost 9-0 twice, was it?
Yeah,
he consistently kept Southampton up. Ralph,
and he made. I thought they got some decent signings in under Ralph. Anyway.
And they always seem to beat us under him when we went down there, That's for sure. But all right, well, let's talk about the other thing that sort of happened since our last podcast that's been getting a lot of traction in the social media, Twitter and all that, is that Emi Martinez comments during the week where he said that he wanted Champions League football, and, he was, a few sort of vague comments like, I'd like to do it with Villa, but, if it doesn't happen, then, we'll have to see what happens. What do you think, Noah? Are you worried at all?
No, I'm not worried. I don't know why he would sign a contract till 2027 if he's planning on moving away anytime soon. I think his ambition is to win a trophy with Aston Villa and is to play Champions League with Aston Villa. Why would you say you want to play with them?
I've heard.
I know we've heard it all before.
I've heard this is my club and it didn't happen.
I think it's different.
I don't know. I think Emi's just maybe doing the right thing by the club. Hey, I'll get you a big fat release clause and then I'm off. Because realistically, I think he wants it soon, Noah. He's in his prime, and it's not like he's 21 with 10 or 15 years to go. He's probably got a good 5-6 years where he can go win some things. And I think right now he's probably one of the hottest prospects on the planet, and any club would come in for him.
100%.
So I think we get a big fat, check for him, and wouldn't mind going for that Bono guy, the Moroccan keeper. Be a great replacement.
Yeah, well, I think he was our man of the match yesterday. It could have been 4 or 5 easily if it wasn't for Emi. He made some great saves. One from Jack, one from Gundogan.
As well.
Yeah, so it would be a huge loss because not only is he a good goalkeeper, he's a good presence. He's got that sort of winning mentality. Winning the World Cup, obviously, only a few months ago. So it would be a huge loss. But, I think like you, Tommy, that it's probably inevitable. Hopefully we can hold on to him for another year or so. But
young, he's doing his best by the club. He'll stick it out. I reckon there was probably bids for him, to be honest, in Jan, and we just probably didn't accept them. Who wouldn't want to keep it like him, right? He's just captain consistent.
Yeah. Well, maybe PSG wouldn't want him after he carried the Mbappe doll.
Go to loyal money.
Yeah, he can go straight up to Mbappe and go, "Hey mate, how you doing? All right." You got that doll if you want it.
Do the dry humping with the trophy again.
Yeah.
But he's one of those players. He's one of the keepers. You hate to play against him because of what he does. But you love him on the team. Yeah, Man U fans hate him with a passion.
Obviously.
That penalty and stuff, but we love him. He's just great.
I agree.
100%.
I think the media put a bit of as soon as he won the World Cup, the media would have jumped on his back and gone, well, why are you only playing for Villa? You can go anywhere around the world you want.
I agree.
And like I agree. Said, there was probably some bids coming straight in, and he was probably almost put in a position where he kind of had to say something like that on the media.
I agree, right? What are you going to say? Oh, no, I don't want to play Champions League football.
Yeah.
I want to maybe get relegated and play in the conference at some point. Who's going to say that? No one.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe South
I heard he was linked to Juventus, but
Bayern,
we'll have
big
to wait and
clubs,
see.
right?
Yeah,
And the thing is,
Bayern.
he would slot into any of those clubs tomorrow. That's the other thing, right?
There are
Maybe
quite a
not
few.
Real.
There are quite a few big teams that have recently purchased goalkeepers, though. So, I mean, yeah,
You're right. And I think Noah said it quite a while back, right? Goalkeepers are probably more inclined to be a bit more loyal than players.
definitely.
I
And I
just
mean,
think
if
so.
it wasn't for Dean Smith, he probably would never have won that World Cup because he went to Arsenal. He was a backup. He brings him in, and
It's been like 3-4 years, man. Like, he's done his part for a Villa as well, Scott, right? Him, Louise Mings, they've been foundational pillars, and he more than anyone, like, he's probably the most likely to be bought as opposed to maybe we move on or upgrade or replace.
yeah, he's definitely going to be the one that everyone's crossing their fingers come the summer that we can hold on to him. But yeah, so let's get into some predictions for the Arsenal game. Owen, what do you think? What's your prediction?
Well, I think if you're going to watch the Max's video back in a bit, I think I got it right yesterday. I was unsure whether we would score or not, but I think I did go 3-1. I think we'll score. We're at home. We always seem to score under Emery. I don't think there's been a game where we haven't. I'm not too sure. So I'll go 2-1 Arsenal. I think we'll give it a go, but we seem to struggle a bit more at home. And I'm sure you've touched upon it on other podcasts. The atmosphere at home is very questionable at times. So if we go 1-0 down early, it could get a bit messy again. No, but I'll go 2-1, and I think Watkins will score again.
Nice, Noah.
Yeah, I think I was going to go the same, like literally the same. But I was going to say Leon Bailey would score because for some reason that man loves a Villa Park goal. Cannot score away from home, but absolutely loves a Villa Park goal. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal as well.
No, Tommy.
I'm going to go just based on form. I know we've lost, but like Man City's Man City, and I think that I think Arsenal are starting to tremble a little bit. They've had some injury woes, so I'm going to go 1-1. And I mean, they're not necessarily dominating games either. So yeah, they're letting other teams back in, and I think if we settle pretty quick, I think if we weather a storm first 5-10 minutes, I think we've got every chance of drawing, maybe even going for it. But I'll probably back us against Arsenal more than Man City. So I'm going 1-1, but I think we could even pinch it.
Yeah, I'll say 2-2. I think we'll probably leak a couple of goals and probably score a couple too. It's one of those games that we have a pretty good record against Arsenal at home. We've beaten them a few times recently. So yeah, hopefully I can continue. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got beat as well, because obviously there is some issues at the back and there's likely to be some changes. So we'll have to wait and see. But everyone, please like and subscribe. Follow the channel. Make sure you catch Owen and Max and all the boys on Villa on Tour as well, and subscribe on there if you haven't already. I'm sure you all are, but please go check out his video that's just dropped for the Man City game. And guys, yeah, it's good to have you on, Owen. Welcome back anytime. No problem at all. No problem at all. And we'll see you all after the Arsenal match. Up the Villa. See you.